Hi, how are you today?
I'm very good. How about you?
Very good. Very exciting to talking to you.
Me too.
Yeah. Is it your first time in Bangkok?
First time this year, but been here multiple times. I love Bangkok. Great food, great people. Thailand in general is amazing.
Yeah. I'm glad you like it here. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
So my name is Bertrand Meylan. I'm the co-owner of H. Moser and Company, and that's where I work the company with my brother, Edward. Edward is the CEO of the brand and take care of the brand, and I'm CEO of the subsidiaries and take care of the distribution. We have over 100 point of sales around the world and 10 boutiques, and our subsidiaries in Hong Kong, Shanghai, New York, Dubai.
So it's like being a trip that Bangkok is in one stop on your trip.
Yeah, at the moment we're doing the pop tour. So it's for our new collection we launched in this drop that we had in Watches and Wonders called the Endeavour Pop Collection, which is 18 references made with stone dials, different colors and mix of color that make it very pop. And so we're doing events. We did all over Greater China, Shanghai, Beijing, Taipei, Hong Kong, Manila, Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore. Sorry. So yeah, it's a big tour of events, and we did the same in the US a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, so let's talk more about H. Moser Cie. Looking back from the early day of H. Moser Cie, what would you say that was the original DNA of the brand?
So going back, so the company is almost 200 years old. Was created in 1828 by Heinrich Moser. And I think the core DNA of all those years is that it was really based on the vision of a man, on the entrepreneurial spirit. Did not hesitate to travel to Russia at the age of 19 years old. You can imagine at that time it was not easy to go from Switzerland to Russia. Went there, started to repair watches there, became very famous because he was the only person capable of repairing the watch, and made a name by himself, then opened his own company, became extremely successful, built over 500,000 watches during his lifetime, and really showed that he was created some of the most complicated watches on the market, but also has been one of the best, most successful Swiss entrepreneur. And I think that's something that is really in the core DNA of H. Moser and Company. Still today, I believe we are entrepreneurs. What we have been doing with my brother for the last 13 years is about entrepreneurship, building this brand back to life.
Okay, very interesting. So about the brand DNA that we talk about, what about the perception of the brand by like the people? What perception do you want people to like look at?
My brother and myself are born in the middle of the watchmaking industry through our father working in it. We were born in La Vallée, which is really the heart of watchmaking. We truly believe in traditional watchmaking, in traditional way of making watches, in the craftsmanship that exists for many, many years. But at the same time, probably linked to our age or our vision when we started the brand, we always put a modern look to it. So we are really the bridge between very traditional watchmaking and very modern watchmaking. Moser has this unique mix between both sides of it that position Moser very unique. So beautiful craftsmanship, finishing, the way of making our watches, but with a modern twist, using colors, materials, look, minimalistic, that is very modern.
So what is your like most distinct and intentional goal from the very beginning that you start working with the brand?
When we took over, the big issue was that it was beautiful product, beautifully finished. The problem, it had no strong image. You could not recognize a Moser if you put it next to 4 other similar. It was a very classic, elegant, silver dial, round watches. You could put them next to 5 other brands and you will not know it was a Moser. And from day one was always to find a way to make Moser distinctive, to create our own DNA in terms of products. And I think through time, we managed to really build that. Now, whatever direction we go, whether it's a very sporty watch, whether it's a very classic watch, it's always easy to recognize it's a Moser. Typically the one I'm wearing, bright orange with this which is not always the typical one we will do. However, whoever knows the brand, through the minimalistic, through the fumé colors, through the design, people will recognize it's a Moser. And I think that's the strengths that we built throughout the years.
You talk about like the choosing of color and design on your watch and not about like the logo or anything.
Yeah. Because you should recognize the watch without a logo. That's always been our objective, and I think that's the strength of Moser today. You should recognize any Moser with it, whether it's a novelty, the Endeavour Pop, or it's a Streamliner, Rose Gold, Vanta Black. Both have no logo. Both should be recognized as Moser.
Yeah, so that would bring us to the next question. Like people would say, they have a saying about your band that they would describe your band as quiet yet bold. Yeah. So do you agree with that image, or do you have something
I
to
completely
add to
agree.
that?
It's what I mentioned between the traditional and modern. I think it has this mix that we are into the quiet luxury because of no logo, minimalistic. However, we don't hesitate to make products that are statements, that when you wear them, you should be proud of wearing them. You should not be hidden them. It has to be a strong product on the wrist. So it's, again, this yin and yang on our products that I think is always very important. Is we don't want to scream everywhere what you are wearing. However, who knows watches or who will recognize it's a Moser from far and know that you have the taste of having a Moser on your wrist.
Yeah. So about that, how did the minimalist philosophy and the now iconic watch of your band come together? Like where did
it came in different stages. First, when we took over, there was this movement that existed, which was the perpetual calendar. That was a very understated movement. It's an amazing complication that usually in every other brand is a very packed dial with the months, the date. You have many windows and looks very complex. And the Moser one was very minimalistic already. From there, we worked in that direction. So really, that was a start. And from there, we realized that Moser had this minimalistic. We always wanted to make ingenious product, easy to use product to our customers, and that don't need to look complicated, even if they are very complicated. And that became really a strong DNA of the brand.
What is your view on the idea of refined luxury in an era where many watch step into more complexity, but your take is more to the minimals?
Yeah, but minimal doesn't mean simplistic. Yeah. It is often harder to make a complication minimalistic or look minimalistic. Typically, our chronograph is probably one of the most complex chronograph on the market. However, because we have all the information at the center, with the pusher you will know, but it's not easy to know it's a chronograph. That's very complex to make. It's often easier to make with more windows on your dial. It is easier to make than to go to the minimal possible information visible and make it that only who knows will know what complication it is. Again, same for our perpetual calendar.
Which campaign or project do you feel truly pushed the boundary and went further than expected?
One that we are extremely proud of is probably the design of the Streamliner, because it took us many, many years from the start of the design, probably in 2014, to the launch of the piece in 2020. Went through so many iterations, working on it, finding the right design, plus finding the way to make it, because once we decide a design, we had to find the suppliers capable of doing exactly the finishing we wanted, and that was also very complex. And it's been an extremely successful line for us. So I think that was one of the most exciting projects that we had over the years. However, there are so many. Every year we have new ones. Last year, a big implementation was the Formula One, with the sponsoring a new Formula One team. And we managed to implement it very fast, coming with new products, with a lot of events in year one, which knowing nothing about the world of Formula One, just watching on TV, but discovering everything else. So I think the adaptability that we have throughout the group at every level, I think, makes a big difference today. We manage to really be very agile, to come with new projects and adapt to new projects that have been helping us a lot throughout the years.
Okay, so in creating the watches like the Swiss Icon watch or Swiss Matte watch, it was industry satire and the bold move. What was going through your mind when you like come up with that collection?
That was at that time, especially, we had absolutely zero marketing budget. So the question was always, how do you stand out? And one of the idea, it came a lot from my brother. Actually, was mentioning that we need to be in the news using the news, and we were always trying to find what was the key news of the year. Typically, when we did the Swiss Mad, the news of the year was the change of the Swiss-made rules. However, it was not going as much as we wanted. We wanted it to go to 80% of the Swiss needed the watch to be made in Switzerland, and it went to 60, so we were not very happy about that. So as a statement, we did a watch in cheese with a movie around it that created a great buzz. Was the same thing when we did the Swiss Alp watch. It was linked to the connected watch, the smart watches coming out. That at that time, everybody thought the watch industry will be dead, that smart watches will take. We believe the opposite. We believe there was two worlds, and we did a statement explaining that mechanical watches have nothing to do with smart watches, and we live in a separate world. And I think 10 years later now, it seems that it's going in that direction for now. So we always use those statements linked to news that will help us make the brand known, and it worked well.
And works splendidly.
Yes.
Yeah, the people still talk about that collection nowadays.
Exactly. A lot when we do all those events, I meet so many people that tell you, oh, I discovered the brand through the Swiss Alp watch, or the Swiss Mad, or the Swiss Nature, or the Swiss Icon, or discovered when you did the collaboration with MBNF. So special event that we created, that we try to create every year, that made them discover Moser, and I think that's important.
What does Fit-Made watch mean to you in like present context?
So I'm born in the middle of the heart of watchmaking. All my friends, my cousins, my neighbors, everybody work in the watch industry. So we are a very hard defendant of the Swiss made. We believe there should be more protection about the Swiss made. It's a savoir-faire that needs to be protected over the years. You need to continue every year to train students. For that, you need to make sure they have a job afterwards. So for that, you need to protect the Swiss made. Young kids that dream about being a watchmaker, that go to watchmaker school and then find a job afterwards in any watch brand or suppliers. For that, we need to continue to protect the Swiss made. That's why we remove the Swiss made. We don't believe the Swiss made is strong enough, and we don't have Swiss made on our watches anymore, because our watches are 100% made in Switzerland. And we think it's important that brands like us fight to make sure we protect the Swiss made more. If you can make majority of your watch outside of Switzerland and still use Swiss made, we don't believe that that's normal. It should be protected. Maximum part of it should be made in Switzerland.
So it was like less of a marketing term and then more like a sustainable industry.
Yeah, I think it's important. If we want a future and we're not the only one. Huh? Some of the biggest watch brands are like us and protect the Swiss made like us. And it's important it continues. As long as we have not only ourselves, other big brands believing that it's important to protect this savoir-faire, we will continue.
Let's talk about your brand. Like, do you think the independent watches brand have the certain power or freedom more than like a big brand?
Of course. As I mentioned earlier, we are much more agile, because at the end of the day, we are 2-3 people that can take a decision within a day. If we call each other with my brother on something, we will easily take a decision. When in a more established brand, part of a conglomerate, you will have different layers you need to go through, which make you less agile.
Next question, can you talk about your selection of watch that you're wearing today?
So I'm wearing probably our latest novelty with the Pioneer collection, in the Pioneer collection with the Spice Aqua. It's a 40 millimeter steel tourbillon with this beautiful orange pice color. Particularity also is the turquoise around is global light, so by night it will have a super luminova effect. So very summer sort of piece, very pop as well sort of piece. We did 3 different versions in this collection with the center second, which is slightly bigger, but with the opposite, with aqua in the center and orange around. And then we did also a pioneer cylindrical tourbillon, so skeletonized movement, cylindrical tourbillon with the orange dial and global light indexes, which is also very striking.
How do you choose a watch?
It depends on what I will do. If I wear something more classic, more elegant, more sporty. Also, I have the chance to quite often wear one of the latest novelties when representing the brand. I think I have the chance to wear one of those watches. And then it's about the one I prefer, the one I have the most feeling for it and that I'll be happy to wear.
Yeah, so if you have to choose between like the finishing and like the movement of the watch, what is the thing that matters to you the most when you're like picking up one watch to wear?
I think we have all our watches have a standard finishing, so I will never compare. But again, sometimes I want to see the full movement, and I love wearing skeleton. When other time I want something very minimalistic. I love our dials in general. I love, for example, the enamel dial, beautiful hammered enamel dial. I love to wear those. The new purple we did at the beginning of the year. I have it here, I think. Like a piece like that. I love to wear that. I think I could spend hours looking at the dials. I have so much depth in this dial. It's very unique. Enamel dial is not something new. We didn't create enamel dial. However, we modernized it, bring colors to it, bring the hammered and this vitreous enamel on it that give it a very modern look. That's new. That's very Moser. And that's what I love about this piece as well.
Okay. So apart from horology, what other aspect of light that inspire your design, such as like art, music, architecture? Like where did you draw your inspiration to create one collection or watch?
All of us in the team are quite interested a bit in everything, from music, from pop culture, from art, architecture. I really enjoy architecture. But also, I have the chance to travel a lot for work, but also for leisure. And through that, I meet so many persons with so many stories around the world. There is a lot of inspiration coming from that, from people I meet all over the world, from different culture, whether you're here in Thailand or in Canada or in New Zealand. So many mix of culture you discover there, so many mix of appreciation of watches or how they see watches that I think is I learn a lot from that, and I think a lot of inspiration come from all those travels.
How about the process? Like how do you transfer your inspiration to like a watch?
The pro is we meet very often with my brother and a small team around. We meet once a month to discuss products, and everybody try to come with ideas. We usually work collection by collection. What are we missing? What direction? We very often work more on the calibers first, like which caliber do we want, and then how do we believe that will be the best way to present this caliber? Then you need to see if it fits the collection. Let's say, we want to do on an enamel blue. Yeah, but we already did too many of those, so we should not. So what else can we do? And we can not always do exactly the watch we want. It needs to also fit well the rest of the collection. We cannot do a 20 blue reference or 20 black reference. We need to try to diversify, which I think is a strong strength of the brand, to come. And at the same time, we need to find new techniques, try to renew ourselves. We came, for example, with a new technique of dial this year that we call Frozen, which have a lot of depth, a bit more sparkly than the enameled, and it's a great looking watch that we put on our Streamliner chronograph. We ask our product management, production management, we love this sort of dials, what do you think? And they come also with ideas and make proposals. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's really a collective work of preparing what we can do. And then when we know different techniques, then, it will be perfect for this watch, or it will be perfect. So it's always a brainstorming. And then we design, and then we're not happy, we go in another direction. It's a lot of testing as well.
Okay, so let's talk more about future. What is your plan for like the next decade? And is there anything you always wanted to do but never had a chance to do it?
One of the big projects that we are working on at the moment, there are two big projects we are working on at the moment. We're working on a new manufacturer that will be ready in 2 years and a half, end of 2027. That's a big project for us. It's going to double the size of our manufacturer today. It will be a completely new manufacturer that we're working on now, and very excited for that. The idea is really to integrate more savoir-faire inside the company, to be able to do more dials, to be able to do more things inside the company, and at the same time being ready to, if we need to increase production or continue to make things better. Second big project coming is our 200 years anniversary in 2028, so 3 years from now. We're already working hard on it, preparing what we want to do in terms of products first. We've been working 2-3 years now on certain products that will come out in 2028. At the same time, we're starting to think about what do we want to do in 2028 or to make it a special year. We will celebrate 200 years anniversary only once. I think it's a great occasion for all the team to celebrate what have been achieved over the last 200 years for H. Moser and company. So we are very motivated to do that. In terms of what I haven't been able to do, I'm not sure actually, to be honest. Had the chance to own the brand, so more or less. Now there are projects that are probably impossible or that takes more time than planned in terms of products. In terms of distribution, I have many dreams of where I think the brand can be in 5 to 10 years, in terms of distribution, in terms of production, in terms of products, but it's going in the right direction, so there's no reason we won't achieve those.
So the next question is going to be, in an increasingly fast-paced and digital world, how do you plan to preserve the spirit of your brand and keep continuing in a world that keeps changing?
Well, I think the chance again that we have is that we have the stability, not only by my brother and myself, been there for 13 years, but the stability in terms of the team around us. We have more or less the same people at all key positions for many years, and I think that gives a stability to the brand and the brand DNA. I think you need to evolve. It's important to continuously evolve. You cannot stand still. If you do and continue just to do the same thing, at some point you can be fashion, and the next day you'll be a has-been. So it's very important to continue to innovate. It's very important to come with new ideas, and I think that's the strength of Moser today, is to constantly come with new ideas and to evolve. We cannot stand still, and it's our role. Doesn't mean we will do everything right. You can never do everything right. There are some products that we might go too far, or people don't understand or don't like. It's fine. As long as we continue to be creative, that we try new things, and our community is getting stronger and stronger and build around the brand. It doesn't mean that our community love everything we do, but they love the exercise of everything we try to do. Not everything will be at their taste. It's fine, because they like the fact that we're trying to do new things. We never stand still, and I think that's the strength of Moser.
Okay, so what do you see as the biggest challenge for an independent watch brand nowadays?
First of all, is to continue to be constantly relevant. It's to continue, you need to invest into R&D, building manufacture. I think it's very important to have your own facilities to build your movement, and for that you need to be financially healthy, and that takes years. To build a brand takes years. You need to reinvest also in marketing, making yourself known. Often what I think is the default of certain brands is they build products, they don't build brands. I think building products is almost the easiest part. Building a brand is the harder part. And having built both is not always easy. And I think all the brands that are the strongest today are the ones that manage to do both, great products and great brand building.
And that will bring us to our last question. What advice would you give to young people who are falling in love with a watch? industry, like the world of watches?
Educate yourself, learn about the history of watchmaking, learn about understanding the difference between different movements, different complications, but always the way movements are made, who make what, learn about brands, brand history. It's all about educate yourself. Now with internet, with social media, with AI, you can learn so much. So before jumping into buying the big brand name, yes, the biggest brands have often doesn't mean they are not amazing. It's not just when you are smaller that you are great. I think at every level of the spectrum, they are amazing brands. The biggest brand in the industry, I'm not mentioning name, but I'm sure everybody will recognize, for me is an amazing brand and is one of the hardest defender of the Swiss watch industry. You go through cycles, you know, you start by buying Rolex, without mentioning name, but then you discover, oh, what else? And so for us, we need a very strong Rolex. It gives us so many opportunities behind to have brands like us that exist. And they're doing an amazing job promoting the Swiss watch industry. Like I say, for young people, I will educate myself, learn, and go through stages. I don't think that it's all about prices. It's a lot about what you like, what you want to wear, what gives you emotion. You don't need a mechanical watch today. However, it should bring you emotion. It can be also marking certain period of your life, of how you feel about it, and a watch is a great statement.
Okay, and that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much
Perfect,
for your
great
time.
interview. Thank you very much.